just briefly on that, this comes at a cost, right?
It does.
It's, and I don't want to make it binary to say it's either we get aid or we be in bed with China. But let's just entertain that fact. Are we choosing? Is China a lesser evil?
Okay. The problem is the right thing would have been to be dependent, but we're not. We're highly aid dependent. So then the which is what the corollary of your question is do we want to get, okay, if we are realizing that we are aid dependent, who do we want to get into bed with, right? And so to me, I think the simplest answer is it doesn't matter who you get into bed with, as long as you take that aid and make it productive. I mean, that's the end goal of aid should not be to sit in a reserve bank. It should be to work for things that will make your economy more productive down the years.
What's your view on aid? I know there's a book I still need to read called Dead Aid.
Yeah.
Have you read the book? And yeah, actually, what is your view on aid to developing countries? More specifically, let's talk about Africa. What's your view on aid?
Can be helpful. Like I said, I think...
Wait. You see, that's the thing. In theory, it can be helpful and the intention is good. My question, is it working? Because
clearly not. We know it's...
So, do you not think it's time for us to relook that? Because we've been getting aid for a couple of years, and I don't want to speak for other African countries, I mean, South Africa is a bit, it's well ahead in terms of the other impoverished African countries, but I'd love to actually have people from those countries speak on actually aid, because they receive more aid than South Africa and etc. But just your view from your experiences and economics.
I think aid can work. That's the theory. I mean, like you said, it's going to depend on what you use it for. Like, I think that's been an issue for so long, that aid, we get a lot of it, but sometimes it's not used properly, or it doesn't even get used at all. It's just more fun. I think the word is like aid fungibility, which just means you have this coming, but then it's not really going to the places. And I think that's been what's the bottleneck with aid in Africa has been for so long. Because as long as you have aid and then, okay, say for example, and somebody takes it away in a very corrupt way or like uses it very inefficiently, then you start wondering what's the point of aid. But the good intention of aid should be to help you, like, like I was talking about that investment gap or savings gap in terms of what we can actually do, because we don't have a lot of, we do have resources, but we don't have a lot of productivity here. So we have that productivity, investment gap and savings gap. Aid can help close that gap, which can make it easier for you then to start building industries that will be more productive in your own local economy. That's what they should be doing. Whether they're doing that, we know they're not, because we've had so many years. I mean, but there are countries like Rwanda that have actually made it much more productive for them. And you see Rwanda is growing. You see like Ethiopia, they're also getting a lot of aid, but they're using it productively. They're using it in the agricultural industry. They're using it to build their own factories. So in a sense, what they're doing is taking aid and building industry that are going to be local, that are going to export things domestically and like internationally, but also that makes it, even if aid stops, they will have something that they will be like, okay, we don't need aid anymore because now we're so further ahead, because we can then become a productive economy on our own resources.
Okay.
If that happens for all African countries, we might be talking very, very fine. We shouldn't even be talking about aid. That's the problem.